So the next section to be covered is going to be solving absolute value inequalities. So first of all, what's an absolute value? So the absolute value of a number is written with these two bars, vertical bars. I think they're called pipes in some programming language. So there are two vertical bars around a number. N can be positive or negative. So if n is a positive number, if n equals 5, then you can write the absolute value of 5. If n is a negative number, then you have the absolute value of a negative 5. The absolute value of a number is always a positive result. The absolute value of a number is always a positive result, which represents the distance from 0 on the number line. So when I was in school, this is pretty much, how I learned it. But another way of looking at it is looking at it as a distance from 0 on the number line. Because distance is always positive. Okay. So for example, if n is equal to 5, then here we are at 5. What's the distance from 5 to 0? Well, this distance is a positive 5 distance. And so the absolute value of 5 is just a positive 5. So this is your distance. If your number was negative 5, so here we are at negative 5, and you take the absolute value of negative 5, then what's the distance from negative 5 to 0? That's still a distance of positive 5. Okay, so one way to think of absolute value is as a distance from 0. But I think if you just always remember that the absolute value of any number will just give you a positive result, that's a good way to remember it as well. Okay, so so in this example, it's kind of also showing, how you can get solutions to an absolute value equation. Okay, so here we have an absolute value equation. And so what values of x make this equation a true statement? And what we mean by a true statement is just what values of x are solutions to this absolute value equation? Well, if we let x be equal to 8, then we're going to have the absolute value of 8. And the absolute value of 8 here on the left is just positive 8. And positive 8 equals 8. That's a true statement. So x equals 8 is a solution to the absolute value of x equaling 8. Now, what if x was equal to negative 8? Then we'd have the absolute value of negative 8 on the left-hand side. And the absolute value of a negative is just a positive. And so 8 does equal 8, so that's a true statement. And what that means is that x equals negative 8 is also a solution to the absolute value of x equals 8. So therefore, when the absolute value of x is equal to 8, then x is equal to both equivalent expressions. So x actually has two solutions. So we've got two solutions, which is a little different maybe from other linear equations that you've seen. If you had seen this, find the solutions to x equals 8, you would say, well, there's only one, x equaling 8. Because only by putting 8 here can you get 8 equals 8 and being a true statement. But with absolute values, you're actually generating two solutions when you have an absolute value equation. So in this next example, it's asking us to solve for x, and we've got the absolute value of x equaling negative 8. Now this is going to present a problem, because remember in the previous example, neither x equals 8 nor x equals negative 8 resulted in a negative 8. Remember, an absolute value of a value is always positive. There are no values that x can be that will result in this equation being a true statement. Therefore, this equation has no solutions. So whenever you see something like this, the absolute value of some number equals a negative value, there's going to be no solutions here.